Keep, yeah. You're. Well, it's all good. You're gonna come by. Okay. Sounds good, man. Okay. All right. Take care then. Okay. Bye bye. Hello. Good morning, Dr. Phelps. Good morning. I'm just gonna get set up here. Give me a sec here. Ooh-wee. Hey guys. It's been a little while. I know it's been like probably a week since I've done a video, so I'm just gonna try and log in because right now I'm streaming this on my phone and I want to pull it up on my computer here, so just give me a sec to get this sorted out. Let's go. Here we go. I think this will work. Here we go. This will work. That works. Sweet. Good morning. So, yeah, good morning, you guys. I'm just down here at the yoga parkade, and I'm gonna do some van work. I'm gonna try and do some painting, actually. Get all this plywood nicely painted up. And then there's a countertop that I gotta make, and then that's it. Then the van build is gonna be pretty well done. I might take out that passenger seat and build a cabinet up in the front. But we'll see. That wasn't really a part of the original build, but it could be a really good addition. Anyway, how are you guys doing? How's everyone doing? Alvester McKenzie. Hi, Joseph. Where have you been? We missed you. Alvester and everyone, I've been really tied up doing personal stuff. So it's taxes. I just finished my taxes this morning, getting the rest of 2020 fiscal year end completed. I still need to square it away with my new accountant, but everything's looking good at this point. So it feels really great to get that out of the way. I was also really struggling with a kind of an issue with my brakes, and that is a story that's going to be coming out soon, so I'll save that for later, but it's coming along. It's just been a real headache, but you know, little steps, right? So yeah. Van life with Gina, thanks for the super chat. That's great. Can you guys hear me okay? I've got you set up in the parkade here so I can hear my echo as I talk. I might have to take this into the van just so I got better audio. Yeah, thanks Gina for that super chat. Woo-wee. All right, I'm gonna catch up on some of these comments and see what we got here. You guys have some questions, just post them in the comments and I'll see what I can do to address some of those. Awesome, just bought some ply for my van today. Dr. Phelps, I guess you're doing some van work today too. I've got 2 other friends of mine that are working on their vans today as well. So it's just one of those days. Leo Sellen, yes, definitely adding cabinet instead of the seat would definitely help you out so much. I don't know what your plans are for it, but I think it would look really cool. Yeah, I've had some thoughts about that, taking out that passenger seat and putting in an extra fridge up in the front so that I can run one of them as a freezer and the other one as a fridge. I'm not sure if I'll get around to doing that this year. It's gonna be a bit of it's gonna cost me $1,000 to get a new fridge, and I don't know if that's really the best use of my money at this stage. So I'm thinking just to build a cabinet up there for extra storage, and if later I still decide that I want to get another fridge and run it as a freezer up there, I can rebuild it and accommodate the fridge that way. But for now, I'm probably just going to do some extra storage up there. So that's great. I'm glad you guys can hear me good. James Tarpley, I'd like to commission you for a few things. I hear you, brother. I get that request quite a bit lately. How's my sweet daughter? My daughter's doing really good. So Carol, you're asking that, Carol Springstead. My daughter's really good. We like I had my birthday last couple weeks ago or so at this point, and we had a really good time out together. Since then, we've been getting out, doing some fishing. We did some running around out in the low tide out in the ocean as well, and just looking for crabs and stuff. But she's growing up really fast. She's amazing. So I'm really liking my time with my daughter. How's Chrome? James Tarpley, you're asking how's Chrome. I'm not sure. You have to ask Chrome yourself. I haven't really been chatting with Chrome a whole lot these days. I think we talked about a week ago or so, but he's doing all right from what I can hear. Robin77, hi from Ireland, Joseph, Ruth and Robin. Hi Ruth and Robin. Deborah Fenney, in my eyes, everything you do has so much meaning for yourself. You are a handsome man with so many talents. Keep safe. Thank you, Deborah. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot about what it is that I'm going to do, and sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it's not. But it's, it's nice to have some thought process into the, especially when it comes to building a van or doing something that you're investing into yourself or doing something for community. I usually take my time and think about those things quite a bit. But I also leave time just to kind of goof off and do whatever I want sometimes too. And I kind of miss that right now actually, because I've been dealing with a lot of responsibilities doing the adult stuff lately, and it'll be fun to get back out in the bush and hang out and just do whatever I want to do. Joanne Johnson, thank you for the super chat. Cheers and beers. Yeah, thank you. That's great. Joanne, it's good to have you, and Joanne is also a Patreon member, so those of you that aren't aware yet, my Patreon is up, so if you want to come check it out, you should. This quiet week on YouTube has been not as quiet on Patreon. I usually try to do a post every day or two and keep things alive over there. It's just easier for me to do quick little updates like that from time to time, whereas YouTube making a video is a lot of effort, it takes a lot of time, but I got a couple that I'm going to be working on here soon. Videos, that is. So Robin77, when do the bears wake up from hibernation? You know what, right now they're already up and about. There's I'm not sure about the grizzly bears, but I'm sure they're up just like the black bears are. And they'll be coming down to the valley bottoms, like down the bottom where all the green is, and looking for food. So from a hunting perspective, the bear season is open. In BC, you can hunt for black bear, but not grizzly bear. And I didn't buy a bear tag for myself this year. I usually get a bear tag, but I don't actually, I haven't pursued bear as the game animal that I've been going after. One day, maybe I might try it out, but I don't know, it hasn't been something that's really drawn me in so much at this stage. But it's really fascinating to go out there and spend time and appreciate them and just see what they're up to. Yeah, I mean, I was trying to do that in that video when I met that grizzly bear. I was just going up the mountain that day to go look at bears. They're really fun just to watch. But yeah, bears are out right now. They're foraging for new, fresh greens. See you later, James. You're taking off. So, okay, Rebecca Tyre. Hi, Joseph. Any big plans for the summer? Yeah, Rebecca, I do have some big plans for the summer. I guess they're not. Some of it's still in the works, and I'm not sure. I'll just talk about what I am planning on doing, and then the stuff that I'm not sure about, I'll just save that for later, and it'll come out when it comes out, if it comes out. But now that all my tax stuff is done, there's a few other little things to kind of square away. There's some tax stuff to sort out with YouTube, believe it or not. So I got to do that. But after all that, I'm just going to be going out there. I plan on eating a lot more wild foods, you guys. So I've been going to the grocery stores, buying food just like everybody normally does. And probably like 7 years ago, I didn't do that for a full summer. And I want to do that again. I want to, I'll probably allow myself a few things like fats in particular, because that was the thing that I struggled to find the most in the wild, was just good fat. And so I'll probably be incorporating things like olive oil and coconut oil, maybe some butter and stuff like that. But I want to predominantly just forage for my food in the wild. And some of that's going to be in urban areas as well, because believe it or not, a lot of these wild edibles are right outside your front door, and those are often better places to look than out in the bush. So, but you can find them just about everywhere. Let's see. Catch up on a few other things. And if you guys want to talk about foraging for wild foods, it's going to be coming up soon. I'm behind the 8 ball on that, you guys. So I've been doing all this personal adulting kind of thing, and I'm watching the plants grow, and there's some things that have come into and out of season. So this spring I'm a little bit behind schedule, but I'm going to be getting into it soon. So Elvester McKenzie, are you in same COVID lockdown area as your daughter? Yeah, so Elvester, the way it works is kind of. So BC is, from what I know, BC has separated into 3 different areas. And I am in Squamish and Vancouver. I've been in the Squamish and Vancouver corridor right from the very beginning of this pandemic back in March. And I only left that area once, but essentially I drive back and forth because I have my storage locker, my tools, things that I need that I keep in my storage, and then I come back down to Vancouver to see my daughter, and sometimes I come to Vancouver to work on the yoga studios, and that's, unfortunately, it's just getting slower and slower and slower because of this pandemic being stretched out as long as it is. But you know, everyone's making adjustments where they need to make them in order to carry on and do things. And for me, one of those adjustments was sharing myself and starting this channel up on YouTube. Was something that I've been really wanting to do for a while. So it's exciting to be doing this. That being said, I do travel back and forth between Squamish and Vancouver. I usually go up to Squamish once and I stay up there for about 3 days, and then I'll come back down to Vancouver and I'll see my daughter. And when I'm up in Squamish, I generally keep to myself. So let's see. Kim Jones, thank you for the super chat. Woo-wee. Thank you. And got one from April's Excellent Adventure. Thank you, April. This is great, you guys. I'm putting some money away for a few things for the channel. I'm trying to, you know, just keep things moving along content-wise and that sort of thing. So I'm reinvesting stuff into that. So Bub Blades, kind of going back to the bear stuff, why buy a tag if you're not planning on harvesting one? So Bub, when it comes to bears, and I also usually buy a cougar tag too, which is a mountain lion. I buy the tags, I don't plan on harvesting one, but because a bear or cougar is a predator that lives in the same area that I'm out deer hunting in, if for some reason there's a conflict or there's something going on and I feel like I'm in a position where I need to protect myself and you know, take the life of one of those animals, at least that way I can do it legitimately and I can still harvest the meat, put it aside and eat it in that way. But I'm not actively hunting those animals. So that's why I buy those tags, but I don't actually go and hunt them so much. Maybe in the future, but not really right now. It's just deer and grouse. Any sewing projects on the go? So Rainy Rain, yes, I do have some sewing projects coming up. I actually want to make some clothes. I'm dying to get some shorts and stuff like that, and I've been buying a little bit here and there at like Walmart and stuff, but I don't like shopping for clothing for me, I just find it takes a lot of time, and I don't often find what it is that I'm looking for. So I'll be setting up my sewing machines in the near future, probably take them out on a backcountry camping trip and make some videos. So that's the plan. So Rob, yes, I did not know your couch bed was modular and removable. Yes. So that's my bed when it's flat, and my mattress isn't on it right now because I pulled it out just because I'm going to be working on the van right now, but it flattens down just like that, and I sleep lengthwise in the van. And then in the morning it just folds right up into a couch, and that way I can sit on the back side of it, or I can sit on the front side of it and just get some work done that way. Let's see, Mike McKinley. Hello Joseph, really miss you. Haven't been on in over a week. I hope you're well and being safe. Love you all, love all your videos. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I've been pretty busy, Mike, but I needed to take some time somewhere from out of all the many things that I was doing and just get to the grindstone, and I decided to take some time away from YouTube and do that. And I'm sorry I didn't really actually let you guys know. I just did it and I got right into it, but I got caught up. How many hours a week do you work doing the air HVAC job? Duke the locksmith. So you're asking me how many hours a week did I work? Before the pandemic, I would work easily 40 hours a week. There were some weeks where I worked 60 hours or 70 hours in a week. But most of the time it was like between 30 and 40. Like, I was really happy when I was only working 30 hours a week. I found that was like just the magic number. But I didn't get too many weeks like that. I honestly was working full time. So, but not right now. Now it's like last month, to give you some perspective on this. Through most of the pandemic, I managed to pull about 20 hours in a month, and just doing sort of the bare bones basic stuff. But in the last couple months, things have really tightened down in Canada and in British Columbia with the lockdowns. My hours last month was, well, in March it was 9, and then in April I only worked 2 hours last month, like for my old job. But I put in many hours on YouTube. Gus in a bus, come say hi. Yeah, I'll come say hi, Gus. I saw you the other day, actually. I was driving down there with my daughter, and we didn't stop, but we saw you. Let's see, I'm gonna catch up on some questions, you guys. ESP and me, I knew people at a bear, but people eating cougars, did not know that. Yeah, cougars are edible. Apparently pretty tasty, according to the reports I've read and heard from friends and stuff like that. But again, I don't know, it's not something I'm going after. Okay, Carol Springstead, months ago, Chrome said you had some hesitation about starting your channel. Has it worked out okay for you? Are you glad you're doing it? Great question, Carol. Yeah, I was hesitating a lot on doing my channel, and it wasn't because I didn't want to do it. It was just the timing of it was really what it came down to. I had so much personal stuff going on, and I almost got a little tear about it, but I was just like, I was in a place where I was really struggling, and I felt like if I started the channel back when we were talking about it years ago, I would probably get it out and started, but then I would fall short and I wouldn't be able to follow through and do more follow-up videos and engage with you guys, just because I was just wrapped up with my own stuff. And I wasn't feeling particularly strong and able to share and do what I wanted to do at that particular time. So now it's working out, I would say. There's still a few things where I feel like, I'm still sorting out some stuff, but it's coming along. And some of it I'll share as I move along with it for sure. So yeah, that's that. Wendy Lee, thank you for the super sticker. That's awesome. Glad to see you here. Really appreciate the help with that. Thank you for the love. All this helps out a lot right now. So, Rain, please video your sewing. Yes, I will video the sewing stuff, Rainy. That'll come out for sure. And then Gary May, did you ever get a drone? Yes, I did. It was in my last video, Gary. I got a little, I think it's a DJI Mini 2 is what it's called. Cool little guy. I'm looking forward to using that in some more videos, just, you know, where it makes sense to add the context from that angle. So yeah, I'm happy about getting the drone for sure. So yeah, I'll wait till some of you guys have some more questions. I'm just going to, what am I going to talk about? I mean, today I'm here, I'm going to work. So for those of you that just tuned in, I'm going to be working on my van today. I'm going to try and get the painting done. And I got to do a countertop up in this area. So once that's out of the way, then most of the van work is going to be done at that point. There'll be, you know, some upgrades to do later, like getting a new mattress. I have to redo this platform right here on my bed. Hang on. This part right here, I gotta change that board. And the reason for that is because right now when I'm sleeping, there's a bit of moisture that collects underneath my mattress right there, and there's a bit of like an odor, a stinky stain that's on that piece of wood. So I'm gonna get rid of it and put in a new piece of wood. And then I'm gonna get that, I don't know what you call it. It's this, Chrome got it for his van, my friend Chrome. It's basically like a Scotch Brite pad that you put underneath your mattress and allows air to get underneath and it to breathe. So I'm gonna do all that at the same time as well as get a new mattress, because the current mattress is really packing out quite a bit. So that'll be a project maybe in the coming months, like maybe in the next month or two, I'll take care of that. So yeah, that's it. I mean, aside from that, I just want to get out and do some fun things. I want to go fishing. I want to do some foraging and stuff like that. So that's mostly the plan, and some sewing. Yeah. So, hang on. This is my alarm going off. I've got an alarm on my phone that goes off at 10:30 every morning, and I'm trying to like save my eating until between 10:30 and 4:30. But already this morning I had a breakfast sandwich earlier, so I tend to, like, if I come in to do a van build day, I just eat all day and work. So anyway, that's that. Rob Yesta, if you won the lottery, what is your ultimate outdoor rig? Would you buy bricks and sticks with lots of land? It's a great question, Rob. I think, like, if I won the lottery and it wasn't a concern, I'd probably do the I'd probably get a Sprinter or something like that, just a bigger van. But I still, like, there's still an exercise of modesty that I would probably have in terms of like what I would do if I did win the lottery. It's almost a scary thought, actually. Like, you know, I've thought about it, and I'd almost be like afraid to win the lottery, because all of a sudden it's like, wow, now I have to manage this large sum of money, and you know, deal with the you know, the possible drama and stuff like that would come up with different relationships that I have currently and relationships that I'd have in the future. I guess, you know, it'd just be like a new thing to manage in your life. But I don't imagine I would be out there spending it and buying all kinds of stuff. I'd still live pretty simply, and probably look for ways to use that money in ways that would go back and help other people, reach out and probably help some family members and stuff like that, and just go back in the community really and be shared. So I don't, like, I would get a sticks and bricks and I'd live in a house if I had to. And right now the only reason I'd have to would be, like, you know, if I was living full-time with my daughter or something like that, and she needed a more supportive place to live, then than in a van, for example, then yeah, I'd get a house in that particular case, and probably live in a community where she's got friends and family and stuff like that to also support her upbringing and her social development. But that would probably be the only real case. Otherwise, I get a piece of land somewhere, or maybe several, and collaborate with other people on that, share the land, and just have like a workshop or a shed on a piece of land here or there that various people that were invested into that could go and use that place and benefit from it, just so that it's not a private ownership, so to speak. I really like the idea of sharing the wealth. So that's what I'd do if I won the lottery. Let's see. Van Life Shorts, thank you for the super chat. Love your channel and the content you're sharing. Really appreciate that, Van Life Shorts. Yeah, I really do. Thank you for sharing that comment and just your feedback on that. It means a lot. And I really appreciate all the comments and the love you guys do share from me. So, are you happy? So, JR Dirt 530, are you happy with your van? Does it work for you, or do you desire something bigger? I am really happy with my van. It was smaller than I wanted to begin with, but it's great. I'm glad I got it. It's really grown on me over the years. There's things about it that I don't like, but there's a lot of really great things about it. When you live in a van, like maybe you live in a van actually, I'm not sure, but when you live in your own van and you're able to invest into it, it's like it's your house, it's your space. You put energy into it, and that goes with you wherever you go, provided it doesn't end up in an accident or something like that. Whereas when you're renting an apartment, you put your energy into the apartment, and then things change and you got to move to a new apartment. You don't get to take any of that stuff with you. There's been apartments where I've lived in the past where I just wanted to like renovate and make all these changes to make my living in that place more enjoyable, but it was like, well, do you invest in somebody else's property? And like, just for a long time, I really wanted to have my own house and be able to invest into it and build. And living in a van like this allowed me to do that. And so I'm kind of in a way playing house when I don't actually have like a real structured house that's on a foundation on a piece of land somewhere, but I get to do all that stuff still and invest into my own house. So I do like it. And as you go through life, you might change your house. So yeah. Carol Springs said, can you see yourself with a pet in a van? Sometimes. I think maybe as I get older I might get one, but for right now, I as much love and compassion would come from that kind of relationship. There's also some setbacks and limitations to that as well, in terms of like being able to go out and do some of the things I do. It's just logistics change around all that, and I just don't want to add that to my life at the moment. So that's the intent with for pets and stuff like that right now. So John LMO, hello, sharing the wild question. How many inches do you have between shelf left, right side? Okay, so the distance between here and here, that's 42 inches. So I sleep this way, like front to back, but that's 42 inches wide. It's a Norris thing. I love your videos. Do you have to pull your bed down every night? Yes, I do. It goes up and down really fast. I'm going to be doing like a van build or tour shortly, but that folds up and down really quick. It's not a burden at all. I would definitely do this again in another van. Let's see. I'm going to try and catch up on some questions, you guys. I love there's quite a few, and 187 of you in here right now. Yeah, Satoshi, yeah, you don't want to win the lottery. Yeah, or be rich, trust me, yeah. Being rich sucks. There's a richness in just being rich in spirit and in heart, and that's what I'm going for in life. So, that's it, really. I think that's what everybody really wants anyway. Um, let's see. Yeah, same person, Satoshi, not gonna FOMO. I had more fun being poor than being a multimillionaire. I bet it. Like, I mean, it's interesting. Like, I don't know what you're talking about when you're sharing that, but like, I would reason like to think that, you know, if it's related to what you spend your money on, you know, and you had like a big house and all these things, I imagine that would all end up owning you after a while, and you wouldn't be able to go out and do, you know, just have the sense of freedom. So when you buy lots of stuff and you live like with all these things, that stuff owns you, and you end up, the weekend comes around, you're like, oh, I gotta fix the tractor, I gotta fix this, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Like, you're not, you know, you're just too busy doing all this stuff, taking care of that stuff. And I've kind of been there with some things to learn the lesson, and I don't want to be there anymore. So I try to keep things relatively simple for that reason. I really value my time. So let's see. Daniel Cargill, what's the largest wilderness area in BC? I think BC is a wilderness, Daniel. But in terms of like an area where there's no roads, or like I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that, parks and stuff like that. I couldn't say what's the largest park, but I don't really spend a lot of time in parks, actually. I spend a lot of times off trail. Let's see. Someone here, the comments just refresh themselves, but someone in here was asking about fishing, what my plans are for that. I just got my fishing license a few days ago, and I did do some fishing with my daughter yesterday. I took her out to a place called Rice Lake in North Vancouver. We didn't catch anything, but we're just having fun, and she's getting the hang of casting the rod and that sort of thing. We saw a young man catch a trout. That was pretty exciting, and there was just, you know, a bunch of different people up there enjoying the lake. I'm looking forward to getting into it and really spending some time out there and just doing some fishing and filming it, and catching what I cook, or cooking what I catch. It's a dyslexia coming through there. So yeah, fishing's on the agenda for sure. Is there anything I miss about living in a bricks and sticks home? No. Well, that's not true. There is one thing I miss about it. So I do miss having the indoor space to stretch out and do yoga. So like in the van, I don't obviously have the space to do a whole lot of stretching and movement type of work inside, especially a small minivan like this. So in the winter time, especially with the lockdowns right now, like the yoga studios are closed, and it's really too bad, because I was kind of counting on all that to be open, really, because that's where I was going to go stretch and sort of like expand my body and move around. But a lot of those spaces are closed, and it's been a little bit of a challenge. So I miss having that indoor space where I could just stretch my body out and you know, do some yoga. I can still do it outdoors right now, and I have been. And I got a gym membership at Anytime Fitness, and I do some stretching over there too. But it is nice when you just wake up in the morning and you can like walk out onto your living room rug and get going. So I miss that about having a house, but that's probably about the only thing. There are so many things about living in this van that I love, and there's so many headaches that go with living in a house that I just don't have to deal with anymore, and I'd much rather be doing this. So yeah. Susan Scoville, have you decided what your life's priorities are? If having things makes you happy, then you live that way. If minimalism is priority, then that's how you live. It's an individual lifestyle. Yeah, that's a great point, Susan. You're totally right about that. It is true. If you do enjoy those things, then, you know, and having stuff around you, then that's great. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with that either. So yeah, Karen Shields, how the COVID count in your area. I'm not really sure, Karen. I don't keep up to date on that stuff too much. I just try to get, some of the restrictions and that kind of stuff, so at least I know what I should be doing in society at the moment, Crash organism, being a millionaire, I have a simple life, not working, but giving my time to help others. I'd be right off this island and over to BC. I'd probably have a lockup in Squamish. Yeah, feel you there. Shandale Broyles, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly there, but your question is, why don't you build a bigger spot on the side to cook on so you don't have to cook on the floor? That was the original intent, but I guess cooking on the floor so far is pretty easy, and I have the space to move around and I can kind of sprawl out a little bit, so I do it like that. But cooking outdoors, of course, I got a lot more space. So if I remove that passenger seat and I build a little storage cabinet right here and get a counter on that, I might use that as a cooking platform in the future. We'll see. Van City Adventure, is there any issues with the new restrictions? No, not really. I mean, it's fine. When places close down, showers become less available, that sort of stuff, then it's problematic, for sure. Stephen L. would love to see van life infrastructure start to become available, a place where you can get off the road for a couple days and regroup, clean, fix up, and stock the rig. Totally agree with you, Stephen. I'd really like to see that kind of thing as well. It brings, with every offering, there also comes a series of challenges that goes along with it. So I can already sort of see if I were to set up some communal van building shop where people could go and work on their vans and sort of fix things up and keep going, where it was just this kind of collaborative, I guess you'd almost want to set it up as a co-op or something so that you could manage it, because you don't want some people coming in and just sort of abusing it, so to speak, taking more than their fair share, which would in a sense take away from others too. So I don't know, it's just how my mind works sometimes, and things can kind of run away sometimes, but you also don't want to have a super highly regulated system where it doesn't really, it sort of falls away from the original intent. So I don't know. That goes into a whole territory of questions. My brain's just going right now with all these thoughts, but but we could use more of that in the world for sure. Just more people helping other people and supporting and being transparent. I've got a whole philosophy with how I live, and I'm sure that comes out a little bit in the videos, and it'll come out more. So let's see. Susan Scoville, is there no different than designing your van? You design your own needs. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So Susan's just saying there's nothing better than designing your own house, because you make it exactly the way you want to have it. It's true to that. Stacy, hi Joseph, your daughter has so much to look forward with all your knowledge, exciting for both of you and her. Thank you, Stacy. She's a pretty lucky girl, and she's got a great mom and great dad and lots of love there for sure, and she's learning a lot, so I'm loving that. Uncle Lunars, I found your yoga platform and used it. It was great, and what an amazing view. Thanks so much for building it. Great job and very kind. Uncle Lunars, I guess you found that little campsite where I built that thing. That's cool. I'm glad you enjoyed that out there. That was cool. It's a good little spot to be in for sure. Robin77, my favorite herbal supplement. Herbal supplement. I guess, I don't know, I like seaweed, and I like wild foods like dandelions, pine. I guess you could include pine pollen in that. I like pine pollen, which is that'll be coming out soon. I'll be doing a video on gathering some pine pollen. I'll talk all about that. That's pretty good stuff. Full of amino acids and stuff like that. So, Dr. Phelps, are you happy with the level of insulation in your van? What would you different? I guess what would you do different trying to plan insulation at the moment? So I'm going to talk about this right now. So I'm going to talk about insulation because I was just chatting with a friend of mine who just bought a Sprinter van, and he was talking to me about insulation, and I feel like I need to do a whole video on it, but I'll touch on it right here. So having a bit of background in aviation, and I'm not an aviation mechanic or anything, but because I worked on airplanes and I was in that industry for a little while, I got to see into how they build airplanes. And there's a really interesting relationship to an airplane and a van that you might live out of. See, an airplane is built to go in a really cold environment up in the air, so it's really cold, and it's a small metal capsule filled with people that are breathing the air, and they're generating heat, and of course the outside of that plane is ice cold. So there's a big issue with condensation inside an airplane, much the same as what we would experience inside our vans in the middle of the winter time or in a really humid, wet environment like we are on the west coast of British Columbia. And so what they do in an airplane is they insulate the inside of the fuselage. So it's like, you've got the walls of the plane, and then they've got the insulation that's in there, and then they've got the wall panels and all that sort of stuff. They don't use woods, really. We use woods in our van builds, but they don't really use woods in airplane construction. They might use them for some cosmetic purposes and stuff like that nowadays, but I think they use a lot of modern materials at this point. And airplanes take so much energy and resources to build one of those things too. So, I mean, the environmental implications in building an airplane versus building a van home, like there's things to consider in that area, but generally the gist of it is that they have the materials there, and they've got the furnishings that go onto the panels too. And in an airplane, you're going to see that up in the front of the airplane and the back of the airplane, being like the galley, like the lavatory and that sort of stuff. So all of those things are similar to like our kitchen and our cabinets that are put in our vans. The thing is all that stuff in the airplane can be unbolted and it can come out. And then they can look behind the insulation and inspect all the aluminum walls in there and see, basically do a corrosion check. And they will investigate all the material for corrosion, make any sheet metal repairs that they need to make, and then off the plane goes. It gets all put back together and up in the air it goes again. So in a van, I'm thinking for insulation, it'd be great if we were using more modern materials like polyester or something that doesn't absorb moisture, but it's synthetic, that we can also remove it and inspect the material behind there to see how it's looking. So in this van, I just went to town. A lot of this stuff is glued and screwed in. It's not coming apart. It's an older van I was just kind of experimenting on, but if I were going into a brand new van, I would build everything so that I could remove this out maybe in a year or two and inspect the sheet metal behind there and see how the insulation's performing, address any repairs at that point that need to happen. But you're talking about building a van build at that point that you have to engineer the disassembly part of it into the actual build part of it. So it goes through a whole other level of thinking and building these cabinets so that they can be anchored in there and then taken out as time goes on. It'd be great if we all did that, but it really ups the research that you got to put into the van build itself. And for a lot of us, that's just not practical, and a lot of us are building in used vehicles and it's not practical for that reason either. But if you're getting into brand new stuff and you're building like like a van build kit or something like that, it'd be a really good idea to incorporate that. So insulation in a nutshell, that's kind of what I think about it. As far as materials goes, I don't like spray foam just because it's bonded straight to the metal. And if you have to do any sort of body work or stuff like that in the future, you're gonna have a real hell of a time doing it. And there's other problems associated with spray foam. I think it's, if it's done right, it can be done well, but it still creates problems down the road. Things like a polyester, like a Thinsulate, or a polyfill from a pillow, or stuff you buy at the fabric store, that stuff should be good too. And then rock wool that you would buy at a Home Depot or something like that. Like, the thing about some of those things is they have a bunch of different minerals in them. And I would think that some of those minerals are going to oxidize faster than like a completely synthetic insulation. So you might have some kind of chemical breakdown in that insulation with a rock wool that might speed up the oxidization process in the metals. Yeah. Anyway, I might do a whole video and talk about that later, but there you go. Hopefully that wasn't too much for you. I know some of you guys are probably like, what? I didn't want to hear about that, but there you go. Lisa Heavenbound, question: how hard is it to visit Cannes from the US for a month van living? I'm almost finished with mine. Want to meet you, Emmy, Jeff Bear, Chrome, etc. possible. Lisa, I have no idea. I would love if, I'd love for all of this to be all over with and we would all just, kind of have our lives back the way they were before. Oh, that would be so great. I would just be like, yeah, I'd plan on making trips down to the US and fishing trips and stuff like that, and I'd travel up to Alaska and go all the way up to the Northwest Territories and just roam, right? As far as doing that now, I don't know. Like, obviously you need some essential reason to would come to Canada, and you would you'd have to look into the vehicle transportation, like how you can get a van through the border. I don't know. I heard some people say they could ship the van over the border then fly. That was going from Canada to the US. So there might be a way to do it, but yeah, I mean, anyway. Trini Kills, what material can be used inside to reduce outside noise? Trini, insulation is really helpful at reducing noise from the outside. There's things called there's different types of adhesive products you can buy to stick onto the inside of the sheet metal. It's kind of like a big sticker. You peel it off and then you stick it on. And a lot of those are designed to dampen the noise from the outside in, or vice versa. That's been around for quite a while with for acoustical reasons and having really good acoustics inside a vehicle when you're bumping up the sound system. So there's stuff out there. I think one of them's called Hushmat, and there's a lot of different brands as well, but there's stuff like that. Yeah. Dr. Phelps just talked to 3M, cannot get the same Thinsulate in UA as you can, sucks. Yeah, like, I mean, the Thinsulate is a proprietary blend of stuff. I don't know what's in their recipe, but for a long time they put it in different jackets and stuff like that you buy in a camping store or like a mountain climbing store. And there's different competitors in that industry that are building different stuff. But when you get right down to the business of it, polyester, which is used in a lot of those materials, is a hydrophobic filament or material. Hydrophobic means that it doesn't absorb water into it. So I'm just going to grab my phone here. So water can't go into it. So that's great. So if you take Polar Tech or fleece, a lot of that stuff's made with polyester, and that polyester won't hold water inside of it. Whereas if you were to take that same strand and you were to use nylon instead of polyester, the nylon's going to act like a sponge, and it's going to hold water inside of that material. So you wouldn't want to use nylon as an insulation, but you would use polyester as an insulation, and that would be good because it's hydrophobic. It's not going to absorb any water into the insulation itself. And that being said, you can have like this net, like that, what's inside a pillow. You can still fill that with water, because there's a lot of airspace in there that you can fill with water. So it's not the same thing. That's just, you know, the air void in that space can be filled with water, but any insulation is going to act like a sponge in that way. Insulation is going to work when you have air inside of it, so keeping water out of it is the best way. But if the material itself is holding water, it just makes it more difficult to deal with it. So polyester is the way to go. Okay, I'm gonna catch up on some questions here. Thank you, I'll never get tired of the insulation talk. All right. Yeah, hi from, let's see. What podcasts, YouTube channels do I enjoy? So that was from Simply Lifting. Sorry about there's a hospital a block away from me, and a fire station a block away from me, and there's a cop shop, I think. Well, I think the cop shop's a little bit further away, but there's a lot of emergency vehicles in this area that I'm working out of right now. So what kind of podcasts do I enjoy in YouTube channels? I used to watch a bunch of, like, some van life channels. I still kind of jump into them every now and then. Like, I watched Chrome Van City Van Life for a while. I'm not watching his content so much right now because I'm also producing similar content, and I don't want his stuff to influence my stuff so much. And I've chatted with him about it. He kind of has a similar philosophy. He doesn't like to watch a lot of the same content that he's trying to make, just so that he's not, you know, he's coming from an original creative mindset, and that's what I want to come from as well. But yeah, these days I've been watching like a bunch of bushcraft kind of stuff on YouTube, and then I've been podcasts. Like, I listen to a lot of hunting podcasts. I listen to other conversations as well, like you know, I've listened to a bunch of Jordan Peterson conversations, Joe Rogan, that sort of thing. I do enjoy listening to, you know, some of the stuff that they have to talk about. There's another guy like Brett Weinstein. He's had some cool things to say too that I've enjoyed, but that's some of the stuff that I listen to. And then of course yoga podcasts and stuff like that too. A friend of mine in North Vancouver, he had his podcast channel called the Kent Brun BRUN Yoga Podcast, and that was pretty fun to listen to. There was a lot of really cool history in that because they talked about yoga industry in Vancouver a lot, and that was pretty cool to listen to that. I'm not sure if he's still doing that or not, but that might still be on the podcast network somewhere. Carol White, thank you for the super chat. Carol, thank you so much. I don't know if you meant to say anything or you just sent me $10, but I appreciate it. All this little stuff helps, especially right now. I'm not working. All this little bit does help me move along and grow this channel as well and share more. So that's it. I really appreciate the help with that, you guys. And you guys, if you want to help out more too, you can also come by and check out Patreon. I got that up and running too. I do post on there a little bit more, like smaller, shorter videos and updates as time goes on. So there's some stuff in there that you might enjoy that experience as well. I'm getting a little bit tired, guys, but I'll go through a little bit more here, and then I think I might be calling it soon, just because I could use a coffee, and I should get to work soon. We'll see, but I'll wrap this up soon, I think. Let's see if there's any more questions in here. Camping with Steve is pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know who that is, but Steve. Do I know a Steve? Huh. Rambling Rocketeer, did you get your brakes taken care of? If so, what was the issue? Oh man, ooh, the brakes. I've been like through the grinder with the brakes, like emotionally and mentally and even spiritually. The story's not quite finished yet. I actually met a subscriber this morning and he was asking me about him, and I gave him the story, but I'll be sharing the story on YouTube here soon enough. I gotta wrap it up and then put it together, and the only reason I don't want to talk about it right now is there's some business that involves a shop that made some mistakes, and I gotta sort it out. But yeah, anyway, there'll be more on the brakes soon. Oh, the brakes. So let's see. Dr. Phelps, coffee and thin slate. Thanks, buddy. Thin slate gloves, yeah. Okay, all right, sounds good. Appreciate the super chat. And Angry Buddha, thanks for being you. Or Angry Bubba, Angry Buddha. I keep saying that when I see your name, I just like my dyslexic brain says Angry Buddha, and it's Angry Bubba. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Angry Buddha. What a contradiction in terms. Angry Bubba, though. Like it. Van Life Biker. I'm using foam board to the body and then fire-resistant insulation behind that. Double barriers and foam board has aluminum foil backing too. Use rattle trap first for sound. Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's just trying stuff out and just seeing what's going to work. And yeah, there's a lot of really good foam board products out there for sure. And rattle trap is just another. It's kind of like Hush Mat. It's a similar soundproofing sticker kind of thing. LOL, give the man a coffee quick. Yeah. Well, you know, I could just take the camera and go make a coffee, and I guess I could do that. If you guys really want me to stick around, I could go make a coffee while I'm doing the live. Oh yeah, rambling Rocketeer. Sorry, guess I shouldn't have asked. It's all good, man. Yeah, I'll share the stuff on the brakes here soon. I'm trying to be sensitive about the shop that worked on the van too, because they fucked up, and I, you know, I'm calling them out on it, but I don't want to do it in such a way that you know, I got to be careful about how I do it, so to speak. But yeah, I ran into some issues. Oh, Steve Wallace. A couple of you talking about this guy named Steve. Maybe I'll look up this guy. Sounds like maybe he's a bushcraft guy. There's a few bushcraft guys I watch. And I got a good friend of mine in the interior. I was going to go turkey hunting with this spring. And I can't because of the new restrictions. I was planning on going on this trip, you guys, and I was going to film it, but I can't do it. So my good friend, Andrew, who lives up in Slocan Valley, we're going to go spring turkey hunting this year. He goes out and gets one every year, and it looks pretty exciting. He shared some pictures and stuff of the past, but yeah, he's been busy building a house over there, and his background is in mountaineering and bushcraft. He was a really good guy to go hunting with and have as a hunting buddy out here on the West Coast. And ever since he moved there, I kind of missed. I missed his companionship in the woods when it came to just going out and hunting. I'd look at something and I'd be like, let's climb that, and he'd be like, let's do it. And there was no questions. It was just like, let's go for it. And we get into some really gnarly stuff, and I felt a little bit more fearless in terms of like myself and going and approaching higher terrains, deeper terrain, or like areas that I don't necessarily put myself in those same places when I'm hunting by myself. It's just having that person, that extra person with you, it just, I don't know, it changes things. It's just like, yeah, it's like, okay, let's go for it. It's 10 clicks back. Let's just do it. That was the kind of mentality we had when we were together hunting. So maybe in the future we'll get together and try and do that stuff again. But and then maybe I'll get braver too in terms of doing some solo hunts and stuff. But I also don't want to put myself in danger either. Got to be sensible about it. So I'm a dad. There's someone that needs me out there. So Arctic Hair, is there a specific method, school of yoga that you like? Yeah, it changes for me, Arctic Hair. There's a lot of different styles of yoga out there, and when a lot of us throw the word yoga around, we think of the movement body practice of it. And there's really there's 8 limbs of yoga, is what they would call it. And only one of those limbs is the asana practice, which is the movement practice. And that's what's mostly, that's what we see, and that's what we associate with the word yoga. But there's a lot of different practices within that. Me in that video the other day doing the neti pot with the water going through my nose is part of one of those 8 limbs. It's a different practice of self-care. And so and then there's a practice of yoga that involves just studying books and knowledge and just interpreting information through reading it. And there's a form of approaching your books and reading that is also a yoga practice as well. And then there's the Ayurveda side, which is all the food and energetics and stuff like that, and diet and that sort of thing. So a lot of different stuff. But in terms of just the movement style yoga, like the asanas, I really like restorative and yin practices because I'm a bigger guy. I carry a bit more meat on my bones. There's more density. And especially right now, I'm heavier. So there's more of a kapha energy or constitution, if you will, that's in my body at the moment. And because of that, I'll benefit more from a gentler, slower yoga, like a yin style practice or a restorative type of practice. Those are going to allow me to slowly release into a stretch as opposed to, being up into real powerful warrior poses and doing crazy back bends and stuff like that. That's not where I've been there. I used to do that sort of stuff and I could get back there again, but I have to ride through this kapha energy stage at this point and do more of a slower approach. And once I start to open up and possibly if I lean out, then maybe I'll be approaching more powerful yoga postures later on. So it kind of goes with the seasons. When you practice yoga for long enough, you change the way you approach it, and it's not just one style of yoga. You end up doing everything. And sometimes the yoga practice you might recognize is not even going on the mat. It might just be my practice right now is to go to the gym and pump some weights because that's what your body needs. So yeah, kind of cool to think about that stuff. Marjorie, thank you for the super chat. Great to see you in here. Really appreciate all the love, Marjorie. Thank you. Yeah. Bob, yes, Van Wy's been around Vancouver getting van fixed up. Maybe a chance for a brush yoga outing with them. Bush yoga outing with them. I don't quite know if I understood that, but yeah. I can't wait till things loosen up and we can all just commingle more and do stuff together. It'd be great. Yeah, it's after this whole pandemic's over, if it were to be over like that, I'd imagine that there would just be a giant party all over the world and just be everyone would be yes! But I don't think it's gonna quite go that way. It might take a little while for things to ease up again. We'll see. Simply Living with Hannah and Anvil. What was your motivation starting a YouTube channel? Do you have some vision of where you want it to go? Yeah, so my channel, I guess, I drew a lot of inspiration from my friend Chrome on Van City Van Life. He's been a friend of mine for I don't know, 3 years. Yeah, about 3 years, I guess. And he was an inspiration and kind of made me recognize that I was kind of doing this stuff already a long time ago. I was making videos of me doing sewing projects and working on building scooters and all kinds of stuff years before, and I never put it on YouTube. I put a couple things on YouTube. They're not on YouTube anymore. I ended up deleting that stuff off my channel before I actually launched the channel. But they were just kind of like little clips and stuff. I might add that stuff back later and just sort of say like, yeah, this was that video or something, but it's not that interesting. Or at least not to me. I guess I just want to share the stuff that I do, like building, fixing things, picking wild foods, eating that stuff, cooking. I just feel like there's stuff that I want to teach, and I get a lot out of that, and I feel like it's a higher calling for me to be doing that sort of stuff as opposed to just getting a job somewhere. And like, I mean, this job at the yoga studio, for example, I love it. It's been great, but like, my impact only goes so far here. Like, I'm impacting the people in the yoga industry in Vancouver, and they know me, and we interact, and they can see what I do. But I was like, I there's more that I can share with a broader audience, and I guess I was part of starting this up as well. So that's part of it for sure. And I look forward to doing more. And some of it I might fall down. I might have some obstacles along the way and that kind of thing, and that's okay. I plan on sharing that sort of stuff too, because it's all part of life. Hope that answers your question. But Blades, I'm disabled and dabbling a bit with chair yoga and meditation. Need more, it's helpful. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean, just the act of being disabled and being in a chair, like you're describing, is kind of like it's a kapha kind of place as well. Like, energetically, you're not moving around as much. You're more limited. It doesn't mean that you can't move around and stretch in areas that you have the freedom to expand out into and explore with your own body in that place. And that'll bring a lot more mobility and motion and more space into your body as well, as in, I guess eventually the idea with yoga is bringing space into the body, but it's also bringing space into the mind and into the heart as well. So, Ramblin' Rocketeer, Foraging, ? What's out in the bush for you to share with us? There's so much, dude. There's so much. And I say dude, but it's either, you being the husband or the wife of that Ramblin' Rocketeer. So, one of you, yeah, there's a lot of stuff out in the bush to share right now. I just haven't been out there, so I'll be doing some of that stuff as well. It's going to take place in the front country, so more in rural areas and urban areas. Finding wild edibles. Stay tuned. I'm going to be sharing a lot of that very soon. So a lot of foraging stuff coming up. I say that, but I've said that before, and I haven't done anything yet. I haven't shared that much with you guys, and I feel that, and I feel like I've let some of you guys down because of that. And there's like an anxiousness inside of myself for that. This past week I didn't really share any videos, and I really wanted to. I was hungry to get out there and do that, but I was also really like caught up mentally and emotionally with this other stuff that was really weighing me down, and it was important to get that off my plate. Just at least get one thing off my plate, so that when I do go out there and do that, I'm more fully present with it, and I'm not like, I don't have this story running in my head like, you got to do this, there's this deadline, you shouldn't be out here doing this because you got to do that. It was just kind of responsibilities that I was dealing with, but that stuff's all got to happen first, and then I can go do the stuff that I really want. Van Life Biker, when are you going to start wiring on Chrome's ambulance? I don't know. Chrome's on the island right now, and I can't go to the island, but I don't know. We'll see. I haven't talked to Chrome in a week or two, so it'd be good to catch up with him and see what's going on. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. Let's see. Butt Blade's trying to shrink now with the fasting, but I hear you on expanding. Kind of kapha state. Yeah, kapha. So Bub, what I meant by kapha is an Ayurvedic term. So it's ancient Indian yoga kind of stuff. Like it's just it was a philosophy. It's a philosophy of looking at like nutrition and diet stuff. And then so they looked at something called the koshas, which is kind of like energetic and body state. So there was Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And I'm not sure if I'm even pronouncing those right. Someone in the yoga who's listening right now is probably like, you didn't say that right, but it's Pitta, Kapha, and Vata. Vata is like, you think of something that's like light, like just feathery light. It doesn't have a lot of density to it. So it's the total opposite of Kapha, which is heavy and dense and sort of solid, not a lot of movement. Kapha is like very flighty or Vata, sorry, very flighty. And Pitta, which is the middle one, is very fiery. So that's like really like a lot of energy, a lot of heat, and a lot of movement. So like those types of three categories are just, energies and qualities that you would see in a human being or an animal or a plant or the earth or a rock. Although a rock is kind of kapha. It's also kind of cold too, and cold is a Vata type energy. Anyway, if you want to look into it, look into Ayurveda and look into the koshas, and you'll get an understanding of what I meant by kapha. Let's see. Mike McKinley, I follow the government every day about all the lockdowns in Ontario and Canada. I don't think this pandemic is going away anytime soon right now. Quebec is in a curfew, and so is Montreal now. Yeah, Mike, I praise you for keeping up to date on everything. I try to kind of poke my nose into the news and stuff. I hear a lot from other people, like family members and friends and stuff like that, who give me information as well in terms of where things are at. It's a big thing. The pandemic's a big thing, so it's going to take some time to dissolve, but it will dissolve. So, yeah, and it's troubling too. Like, I mean, everyone's being tested right now, like in a lot of different ways, and it's a difficult time. It's a tricky time, even mentally. Like it's spiritually, mentally, energetically. There's a lot of it's a real tough time, and I think the best way we get through all this is just to is with compassion and connection, and that's it. Compassion and connection, and love. I want to say transparency as well, and that's where to be transparent requires us to bring out our warrior energy and really be ready to go and work through whatever we need to work through in order to connect with one another. And it's, being honest and transparent with one another is step number one, and then just bringing love to the table and connecting with that, because there's conflict, there's disagreements, there's all that kind of stuff, and there's a lot of heat and drama, and at the end of the day, it's just let's work towards the best outcome, so, and love each other. So Craig Betts, you might want to touch base with Chrome in his video yesterday. His mother has taken a turn for the not the best. She might not be with us much longer. Yeah, Craig, I hear you on that one. Chrome and I did talk about this last time we spoke. I know his mom's kind of, she's not doing so good. And I'm not sure what Chrome shared about it, so I'm not going to share anything here. Just just to sort of respect his privacy, because I don't know what he's shared. But yeah, I'll give him a call, because yeah, good to check in with him. Yeah. Let's see. George D. Sadly, I don't share your optimism, having read the Great Reset button from the head of the World Economic Forum. Yeah, man, I hear you. I hear you. It's, I mean, if, like, you know, the whole thing has just created a lot of turmoil, like turbulence in the human consciousness, collective human consciousness. And, you know, some of us have built our lifestyles in certain ways based on the freedoms and the ways that we've been able to mold and shape our lives in this short life that we have. And this sort of upturn of events with the pandemic is really, you know, it's really challenging you know, those different lifestyles and those different, you know, perspectives and all that sort of stuff. And then of course, you know, then there's changes that, you know, we're making because of it to adjust to it. And some of it works for some people and some of it really doesn't work for other people. It's kind of a mess, man. I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's like, you know, when something comes in and upsets the you know, the whole party, then it takes a while for things to settle out again and become calm again. So it's just a storm we're going through. And yeah, you know, humanity's been through a lot of storms. So, but yeah, just love and compassion, man. That's what I think needs to come forward more than anything. And it doesn't mean it's easy. It can be really hard sometimes, but it's important. Anyway, let's see, where are we at? We've got 200 people still watching. That's incredible. It's great to connect with you guys again, by the way. Yeah, I know it's been a little while since I've been online, and I'm doing okay. I've just been busy doing all the responsibilities and that sort of thing. And it's important to face that and do that sort of stuff. When we get those things out of the way that we don't want to deal with, it really lifts our spirits quite a bit. It makes room for you know, our creative sides to come out. So that's great. Yeah, Georgia, yeah, I hear you, man. What makes me sad is to see the people seeing this pandemic being misused. There's so much speculation. Yeah, I mean, the troubling thing for me is, you know, I don't know what to believe, and that's sad. And you know, it's been a pretty confusing time, and hopefully we can arrive at you know, some you know, we can learn from everything. And it's just it's strange. I don't know what to say, man. Yeah. Get coffee. Yeah. You know what? Maybe I should get a coffee. Oh, Ramblin' Rocketeer. You say Mark Monroe. How is it? Maybe Mark's in here right now. Oh, he is. Hey, bud. Mark was, so Mark's in the comments right now, you guys. Mark was going to join me today. He was going to come down here. I got this space scheduled all day, so this parkade is mine for the day, and I'm going to work on my van. Mark was going to join me and kind of lend me a little bit of hand with my van, but he had a couple little projects he wanted to take care of too, and I was going to let him use the table saw that I've got. But he's up in, I think he's up in Squamish working on his van up there, taking advantage of the nice weather, and I don't blame him. Being outside working on your van outdoors would be kind of nicer than being in this cave that I'm in, but I don't know, I'm gonna use it. So, hey buddy, glad you're here. Miss you, man. Simply living with Hannah Anvil. What do you do, such as mental, physical, spiritual practices to stay sane in these crazy times? Excuse me. Clearing a little phlegm came up there. You know, I just I try to do what I need to do for myself to be healthy, to be fit, and I guess mentally fit as well. Mental health is a big one, especially now, and that can be a real challenge, you know. So I recently, I'll talk about this now because I'm pretty well through it at this point, but I recently did a project that I found was pretty profound, and it was useful for me at the stage I was at. But I just went through a book called The Presence Process by Michael Brown. And I don't really want to talk about it too much because it's really kind of a work of art, that book and that process. And there's so much value in it. And I don't know, it just gravitated towards me. But essentially it involves a breathing practice, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night. So it takes a bit of, a commitment, and you would do that for 10 weeks. And then of course you'd go through the reading and read through this book at the same time. And for me, I found it was pretty good because it allowed me to become more aware of some of my own internal mental hang-ups, if you will. And of course the hang-ups would come from emotional hang-ups where, something would happen, right? Or I'd interact with somebody and I'd all of a sudden get like upset about it, or, angry, or whatever the trigger is and whatever the emotion is. And this practice allowed me to recognize more about where those feelings are coming from, and being able to just be with the feeling itself, and not so much focused on what would be the circumstance that caused the feeling to come up. So, if someone came over and like just, kicked my van out of no reason particular. Like, let's say I was just sitting in my business. I'm just using this as an example. And someone came over and they just like kicked my van and like dented it or something like that. I'd be upset about it, like, right? And so this kind of work allowed me to look at, like, it's not to like focus on the thing that made you upset, which is what we kind of do, is we focus on like, clearly like that guy just fucking kicked my van or whatever, and like, so it's his fault, and so then we're blaming. And it's to focus on the actual feeling that comes up when that event took place, or when that event is going on in the present moment, and focus on what feeling is coming up and being with that feeling. And it's not to say that you're just gonna write off and let the guy get away with kicking your van. Like, you still need to defend yourself and stand up for yourself and have clear boundaries and stuff like that. But it's also understanding like what the feelings are beneath all that too. And so this more recent work with this book has allowed me to become more aware of the feelings that I was bypassing in myself in these events. And instead I was like focused on the trigger, the person or the situation that made me upset. And I'd be like, oh, and I get so mad at it or something like that, as opposed to going like, oh, okay, this is bringing this feeling up inside. Where's this coming from? What is it? And how do I integrate it? And that's the big thing, like how to integrate the feeling and work with it in a creative way. And so it's not denying yourself from feeling upset about something. It's just how do you incorporate it in a way that's going to serve you and going to serve other people around you. So anyway, this more recent book and working with him has been probably the kind of a cool I don't know, bit of spiritual and mental work that I've been working on lately. So that's been helpful. So I hope that answers your question. Some of the other things I do is, like, of course, yoga. And prior to the whole pandemic, I was, I'd started up school in counseling, and I took my first year in a counseling program, but then I put the brakes on that because I don't have the funds to keep going with it right now. And there's just too much other things that I got to focus on in the meantime. Doesn't mean I've unplugged from learning about that stuff. I still I have a pretty strong commitment in continuing to read books and information and be with people, be involved with men's groups or support groups, and work with others to go through their challenges and my own challenges, and share from a place of vulnerability and strength and being able to change. And it's so much to talk about with that. Yeah, I don't know. It's a passion of mine anyway. Like, I really like self work and trying to become a better human being. Yeah. Just for myself. And I should say that a better version of myself, really. That's what it is. I don't mean to say that as I want to be a better human being than anyone else. Like, it's just to be a better version of myself. What do we got? All right. Someone's inviting me several times to go get a drink. So I'm going to get a drink. I'm going to come right back. I'll keep you in the camera, don't worry. So, I'm dying for this cup of coffee. I can see the comments coming up there, but I can't read them from here. I know, I'm going to be right over there soon. Maybe I should bring that closer. Ah, there we go. This is gonna make me feel way better. I'm dependent on the bean right now. I say that and I think about all the people that had to work towards getting this particular bean in my cup. And even that story has got some hardships in that, which is unfortunate. Can't do anything in this world without somebody paying a price of some kind. Maybe one day things will get better, but I'm gonna really enjoy this cup of coffee. All right, let's see, what did I miss here? Guys are talking about Jeff's van and Mark, and yeah, Jeff's van looks great. Mark did an excellent job on his van. I think Mark's going to do a little bit of work on my van too. He's going to make it look nice and pretty. I don't need a paint job though. There you are, Mark. Not many sunny days to take advantage. Missing Joseph today. Yeah, I miss you too, bud. I might be rolling that way soon. We'll see. I'll just get through today, get some work done on the van, and then I'll see how I feel. Chris Vermillion, thank you for the super chat, buddy. I'm glad you're here, man. I really appreciate it. I still got to look at your email you sent me about your electrical thing. I'll get to that soon. Now I'm really intrigued. Now I really want to dive into that and check that out. Glenn Vanderberg, do you know Harvey Jackins? I don't, I'm not sure. I know a Harvey. The name's not very common for me, but I'm trying to remember the association. Harvey. I believe Harvey might be the name of a husband of an aunt, or like a second relation aunt husband or something like that. That's what's coming up for me when I think of the word Harvey, like on my dad's side or something like that. Let's see. You can skip back in the live videos. Yes, you can. I'll put this up after it's done too, so you can watch it again if you miss anything. If you guys gotta go, that's fine. You can watch the replay on this. I'm just catching up on a few of these. Get some of this coffee going too. Jen, thank you for the super sticker. How's it going? It's going pretty good, Jen. I'm getting the pasties here as I'm talking. I'm like, my mouth's all dry and I need some liquid. I should be drinking water, but I'm having coffee because I just feel like coffee. Chris Vermillion, did my first alumni call and I'm going to be starting my Crossroads class. Can't wait to do a local meetup. So Chris is talking about, Chris joined the Mankind Project, and although he's making reference to some things that I'm not familiar of, and I imagine that since I've been involved with the Mankind Project, they've made a few changes, especially with the pandemic and having to move stuff online. But I did something called the new Warrior Adventure Challenge or something with the Mankind Project, and that was like a weekend. I can't talk about it. It's one of the agreements. It's like basically a weekend initiation workshop with the Mankind Project, and that was really amazing, really cool. So if they ever open things up in such a way that they will do those kinds of things again, which I mean probably is going to be an eventuality, then I'll probably go and try and staff one of those things. It's my buddy Nicholas calling me right now, but Nicholas, if you're watching this and you're calling right now, I'm going to call you back later. Nicholas bought himself a Sprinter van. He's a friend of mine, also a hunting partner, lives on Vancouver Island, and he's picking up a new Sprinter van tomorrow. So he's just trying to call me and connect on technicalities. He's trying to put together a shopping list of things he's going to need for his own van build. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, Brenda Sweet Apple just dropped in for a few minutes. So glad I did. The pandemic is crushing me. I live very isolated part of Canada, but it's still crushing me, my spirit. But I just put it in my cart. Yeah. What did you put in your cart? I'm not sure what you put in your cart. Maybe you bought something and I was talking about it. Brenda, I hear you though with like the pandemic crushing you. Like, I don't know what it's like up where, like in northern parts of Canada or remote areas. I don't know what it would be like, but I'd imagine it'd be kind of frustrating in the sense of like, let's say these provincial lockdowns, let's say they're like, okay, now you have to stay in your house. And if you live in like the remote place, like it would be like, it doesn't make any sense. I live way out in the sticks. There's nobody for miles. I wouldn't stay in my house in that case. But yeah, it's becoming a real struggle for some people, and I'm seeing it in a lot of eyes right now. And I'm not going to speak about it more than that, Brenda, just because I've already talked a little bit about it on this live chat, and it'll be there for the replay. But it's just, yeah, I'll just leave it for now. Let's see. Oh, Brenda, you're talking about the presence process. Just put the book in my Audible cart. That's great. It's quite a thing to work through, Brenda. If you do go on that journey, I highly commend you for it. It's yeah, it was pretty cool. Oh no, am I losing my connection? Oh, it's still playing. Okay, let me know if it starts lagging, you guys. Okay, Mike Minderlin. Oh, okay, I might need my Jackery. Actually, my battery's gonna die on my laptop. But I'm playing this off my phone, so the live stream's not gonna, it's just, I'm using my laptop for the comments. Mike Sam Minderlin, Mike from Whitecourt, I'm hoping to see you do more videos in the bush talking about the properties of plants. Stay tuned, Mike. That is definitely coming up. I can't wait to get out there. Just been dealing with a lot of like responsibilities and stuff that I needed to get off my plate. And there's going to be definitely some of that stuff coming in very soon. Okay, so here's the thing. I mentioned this earlier on in the live feed, but my plan is to. I think I've got enough ingredients in my fridge for one more curry. Making a curry dish probably tonight. Be cauliflower and onion and coconut curry. Put that on some rice that I got, courtesy of Mark. Thanks, Mark. And but after that, you guys, I'm thinking about really weaning myself off of the grocery budget and just relying more solely on wild foods and going out and foraging for my food. So hopefully you get, well, you'll see some of that. I don't want to say I'm going to commit to that fully because I got some pretty heavy stuff coming my way, personal stuff that I got to work through. But I have to put that in front of everything else. But as long as I can keep things steady, I'll be eating a lot of wild foods and sharing that on the channel. So anyway, that's that. Stay tuned. I'm just gonna get my little Jackery, plug in my computer, and I'm going to have my coffee. Hang on. You know what's funny? Is that here I am grabbing this thing to power my laptop, and it's just how my brain works, right? But it's not fully functional right now because just like right over there is a plug to AC power, and I don't even need this portable battery. I could just plug straight into shore power. But anyway, it's okay. It's good to cycle this little battery of mine anyway. Joseph, do you eat chicken, red meat? Donna Cooper, you're asking me if I eat chicken or red meat. Well, Donna, I'll eat chicken and I'll eat red meat for sure. I got that in some videos in the back showing that. I eat a lot of like plant-based food as well, but and I've been a vegetarian, I've been vegan before and all that sort of stuff, but I go even further than eating chicken and red meat, that I actually go and hunt for, so I'll go and hunt and kill deer or grouse and I'll eat that. So, the idea is to get my food off the land as much as I can, in times when I can do that, where it makes sense to, like I definitely don't want to take more than, I want to be careful and be mindful about what it is that I do take from the land as well. So I have to be a bit of a conservationist at the same time. But yes, I eat chicken, red meat, not that often, but I do. Yeah. All right, so let's see. Carrie's Card Creations, Mason, watching you from Somerset in the UK. We are slowly coming out of a 3-month lockdown and can start to see our family again. Non-essential retail are now open to roll on a better way of life for us all. Yeah. Wow, I just feel that. Yeah, it's really hard to be cut off from family and friends, and I've been kind of fortunate in a way. A lot of my family live in Ontario and Quebec. They're going through more stringent lockdowns than I am in BC. And I don't often visit them that much just because it costs a lot of money for me to go to visit the other side of Canada even. It was a problem even, before all this pandemic happened. But for me to fly to Ontario and stuff like that and go and visit my family would cost me the same amount to go and fly to somewhere like Bali or Thailand or something like that. And sometimes Thailand would be cheaper than flying to Ottawa. But I didn't go back and visit my family all that much because it costs a lot. And I wasn't in a position where I could just kind of do that as much as I wanted to. But yeah, being disconnected from family, that's tough for sure. Dude, plug her into the wall. Yeah, thanks, man. I was talking about my computer. Seems like Peggy Ramsey, seems like I haven't seen many posts from you lately. Miss hearing about what's going on in your busy life. Peggy, yeah, I mentioned this a couple times. Basically, I just been busy taking care of stuff that responsibilities. And I had to make a choice where I just needed to get down to the grindstone and just get through a bunch of stuff. So I did that. And so I took a little break from YouTube. I know I can pick this up again as well. So there'll be more cool stuff coming out. And I got through a lot of stuff. There's a couple more big things I still need to take care of, but at this point I think I can manage everything at the same time again. Simply Living, would you consider yourself more of an introvert or an extrovert? It's funny, like I used to think of myself as an introvert, and in some ways I still do, but there's an extroverted side of myself too, so I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if that really answers your question. I'm still trying to answer that question for myself, I think. Rebecca McNeil, you got that China heater in there? I don't know if that's a question mark, Rebecca, but no, I do not have a Chinese heater in my van. I almost put one in, but I put in a Russian one. It's called the Planar. It's a 2 kilowatt heater. It works really well. RG Pan, thanks, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you later. George D, do you speak Quebecois then? Absolutely, I speak, just kidding. I can speak franglais, so I can speak, which is kind of a slang French English. I can speak English with a good thick accent French if I want to. But I never really picked up French very well. Maybe one day I'll learn and incorporate that into everything. It'd be nice. More languages, the better. But there's only so much time, and there's a lot of things I want to learn. Mila Hajarta, I'm so impressed with your wide range of knowledge, your calmness, wisdom. Thank you for sharing with us and taking us along on your journey and teaching me new things. I love learning new things. Thank you very much, Mila. I'm really glad that you feel that way, and it's really good to hear that. Thank you. David Griffin, what's your favorite wild game bird? How would you store all the meat from a deer? Oh, okay. So, yeah, David. My favorite game bird, I don't know. These days it's a grouse because that's what's available to me. And I don't have, I really enjoy duck too, like mallards. They're really tasty as well. But I haven't really been into duck hunting for a really long time, so I'll just go and get a grouse in the fall when the season opens, and they are really good. They're really delicious. And you're asking where would I store all the meat from a deer? This is a good question. It's come up a lot. I have a freezer that I share with some friends up in Squamish, and we, whenever one of us is successful, we would put the meat in that freezer and share it that way. At least, at least that's basically the idea. That could change. Might stay the same. There's right now. This fall things need to be reorganized a little bit, because I think that freezer at this point is at one of my friends' houses, which I don't really have access to, and it would be great to, because I want to use the freezer for more than just putting meat in the freezer. If hunting is never a sure thing. Like, you can spend a whole season out there, and you might be fortunate enough to harvest an animal, and you might not be. Like, it's just, it's about being in the right place at the right time sometimes. And it, can really come down to shot opportunity and the ethics of a good shot versus not a good shot. Last year, I had, I think it was 5 deer in my sights, and I didn't pull the trigger on any of them because I didn't have a clear shot. One of them wasn't a legal deer, though. One of them was in an antler restricted area where it needed to have 4 points on one antler, and this deer didn't measure up. So, otherwise I would have had a great shot on that one deer. That was the only deer that offered me a really good shot, but it wasn't a legal deer. So yeah, hunting is not a sure thing, but so the freezer would be great to use it also for putting away berries and different things that I would forage for as well. Because it's at a friend's place right now, it's not easy for me to access it, so I'm trying to I'll maybe figure out a different solution, but it'd be really great if I had a storage locker that had a power plug-in that I could access the freezer whenever I needed to, and then I could just, it wouldn't be an issue. It'd be perfect that way, actually. So, but that would be the plan. Jen Hall, do you ever plan on coming to the States? I'm not planning on it, Jen, right now, but that's just because of the state of everything right now. You ever come down to the States, the state of everything? Just because of the pandemic, really, and everything that's going on, I'm not making any plans, but I would love to. Like, if all this kind of sorted itself out and, tidied itself up, then for sure there would be a lot of places I'd like to come down and check out. And I also like to go up north to Alaska. See you, Van Life Biker. Thanks, bro. Yeah. Let's see. Ramblin' Rocketeer, do you have any siblings? You may have mentioned that before, but I forgot. Yeah, I have a brother. His name is James. He lives in Quebec. He's got a nice little nest egg over there, and he's into the outdoors too. He does a lot of skidooing and sledding and fishing and quadding and boating and that kind of thing. And Chris Mervillian, yeah, do some HVAC videos and other repairs you do. It would be great to see that. Chris, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, like, you know, if I can roll my camera in situations where I could do that sort of stuff, then I would. But right now, like, the yoga stuff is like, it's stalled right now because of the pandemic. Like, like where I am right now, there's 2 rooftop units that are broken right now. They both need brand new heat exchangers in them, but they're not being repaired at the moment because there's no revenue coming into the business. So things are kind of waiting at the moment anyway. So we'll see. But I might share some of that stuff as it comes up, but it's not really the main intention of what I really want to create and share on the channel. Susan, I would love to share a freeze dryer with a few people. Susan, are you talking about like a freeze dryer? Are you talking about like a dehydrator, or like a freezer, or like a freeze dryer? When I read those 2 words together, I think of like NASA freeze-dried food for space astronauts and stuff. Maybe the machine that makes that kind of thing. That would be pretty rad. Jeff Jones, why is the van stripped out? Good question, Jeff. I am going to be working on the van. I'm in the shop right now, so I just decided to start a live stream before I got to work, so that's why. Ricona, will you ever get any merch? Probably, yeah. Just when the time comes and I can put some energy and time and money into that, I will definitely get that going. Got to do some graphics and stuff like that, I suppose, too. And I've been inspired by a few Ramblin' Rocketeer who's in here right now. Him and his wife shared some really gorgeous pictures, some sunsets and stuff where they live. They live in, I think it's Maui, or like, you know, Hawaiian Islands, somewhere out there. And they've shared some really cool photographs out there on the beach. And that was just really beautiful. It looked really good to see that on her shirt. So maybe I'll do that as things ease up and I get a few more things off my plate. I'll start putting some time into the merch stuff. Yeah, Mark Monroe, thanks, buddy. Put that towards your supper, bud. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it, man. That's awesome. Cheers, buddy. We'll have to get together and do a little cook off in the you know, somewhere at some point. I don't know. Eat some dandelions or something. Susan Scoville, not a dehydrator. Yes, like NASA. Oh, you weren't kidding. Wow. It even preserves nutrition and taste. Okay, you got me curious, Susan. I'm going to look into that and see what that's all about. That sounds pretty interesting. It's talking about a freeze dryer. Freeze dry your own food. I think she's talking about a Harvest Right freeze dryer. Maybe, I don't know. It's the first I've heard of it. Who knows? I guess if I could freeze dry some food. You know, it'd be kind of cool to freeze dry some meals for like, okay, well, I can think of someone who would really benefit from being able to make his own freeze-dried meals. And that would be our friend, a lot of you guys are friends with this guy, I know who I'm talking about, but Foresty Forest, going on his mountain hikes and stuff like that. I'd benefit from this too in my hunting stuff and when I'm really going, far out there, doing what, maybe not the same kind of excursions as he's doing, but it's pretty similar. I mean, I haven't put a lot of my own hiking efforts into peeking out on the top of a mountain, but I do a lot of hiking, in the pursuit of looking for wild food and stuff like that. But making your own freeze-dried meals so that you could cook those on the mountaintop would be pretty cool. Cool. Joe McEwen, see ya, buddy. You are gone, buddy. Oh, man. Hide user on this channel. Yep, see you later. You're done. Oh, that's so funny. So, yeah, that was just some... That's it, bud. That's what happens, man. You speak some shit like that, you're banned. You'll never get to say another thing on this channel ever again. Oh well. Who knows? Maybe you're not actually a person and you're just a robot. So, you never know these days. Good times. Well, you guys, I think I'm winding down, and I should be winding up in my van, working away here. So I think we're gonna call it here, and I'm just trying to think what I might want to say before I say bye to you guys. Well, I'll say thank you very much for all the support, all the love, the views, you guys watching my videos. Whenever you do that, it really helps me out a lot. And like, I'm going through a transition in my life, and starting this YouTube journey has been a real blessing, and I'm really enjoying everything so far. I have a lot more that I want to share, and hope you guys really enjoy what's going to be coming up. I imagine you will. And but so far, I really appreciate all the love and the views and the shares that you guys have done. So anyway, if you're intrigued and you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, stay tuned, and there'll be more stuff coming out. Pretty soon I've got some sewing stuff coming up and some foraging stuff coming up. So that'll be on the agenda, and then, I mean, I've still got more van build videos too, I know. So those will be coming out for a little while, but I'll catch up on all that van build stuff soon enough. Anyway, guys, yeah, the coffee is kicking on. I'm starting to, like, my foot's going. I'm ready to go. So much love, everybody, and take care of yourselves. Stay true to your own hearts, and yeah, just love yourself. Do your best to connect with others and share your heart. So much love, and we'll see you soon, you guys. Take care. Ooh, how do I end this? Maybe I ain't going just yet. What do I gotta press? There we go. There it is. See you later. Much love, everybody.